Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Model Railroads and Structures Show. In this episode we finish off our scratch build of our waterfront warehouse. We're going to be looking at how to create the roof from cereal box, how we added the doors, and how we paint and weathered the structure. So sit tight and enjoy. And oh yeah, stick around to the end of the video where I'll ask a question. So to start this video off, we're gonna first paint the structure. I'm gonna paint the structure with my neutral color, which is aged concrete paint. I find it to be the perfect aged wood look. Slightly gray, slightly have a little bit of color. It works for me. I'm adding a lot of this paint so that it'll penetrate all the grooves. I want the gray to be in the cracks and to penetrate all the texture that we added in the earlier steps. The reason why I want to do that is because aged concrete accepts our weathering very nicely. So where the wood would soak in our weathering a little bit, the aged concrete really gets a nice darkened tone when you add the weathering solutions that I use. So that's what I'm going to be using for my base paint. And if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I paint from the bottom up, meaning I start with the shadow and moving up. So in this case, the aged concrete is going to be part of the shadow. For the second floor, I'm going to add a view block about 1.5 inches away from the door. It's going to be painted black, and I'm just going to stick the card in there and glue it and let it dry. Later on, I'll add a casting of some, some supplies that are going to be loaded on a ship or something slightly behind the door. Moving right along, the major color for this building is going to be navy blue. I find from the reference photos that I've looked at over the years, these bright colors on the harbor front are kind of common, and I love blue. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to be dry brushing. Dry brush, you put the paint on your brush and you dab off about 80 to 90% of it. I start off by taking about 90%, maybe even 95% off of the brush, and then I gradually start adding more as I get more comfortable adding the paint to the structure. The goal here is to just paint the highlights. I want my concrete paint to show through probably at a rate of about 40%, so 60% blue, 40% concrete color, so that I get a real nice weathering when I'm done. In video number 1, I cut out my cereal box, and then I painted it all black with my ultra flat black spray paint. Both sides of the cereal box are painted black because, like I said before, paint from the bottom up. If there's gonna be some color showing through, I'd rather it be black than white or the yellow on the outside of the cereal box. Since we are adding water-based acrylic paint to the roofing sections, I'm gonna brace them with my strip wood. It's always good to really brace your structures because you know, it's not like if you want to bend the roof to look saggy, you're gonna do it on purpose. But when you don't want something to happen, make sure it doesn't by adding bracing to the back. Placing the structure on the layout will allow your mind's eye to explore possibilities that, you know, might not happen sitting at the desk. You know, so sit around, maybe take a few photographs with your camera and then look at those photographs on your screen. You know, maybe something's gonna jump out at you. This is where we can all take that extra step to really improve our modeling. Making the sliding doors from the kit is pretty easy. I just took the cutouts from the wall, the pieces that I cut out from the wall. I'm gonna paint them with dry brushing white over my concrete paint. Then I'm gonna flip them over so the lines don't line up or anything like that, and I'm gonna glue them in a slightly open position. Lickety split, Bob's your uncle, nobody's gonna notice. Following through on an idea, I put the structure back on the layout so that I can see if it'll look better on the other side of the dock. You know, there's only one way to find out if this is going to be the perfect placement of this structure, or even if this structure is going to fit in the scene itself. You never know when you might have to scrap all your efforts and try again. Now that I'm happy with where the model's going to be placed, I want to add some weathering to the door and the floor inside the model where you'll see it inside the door. You know, this is just one of those things that you usually forget until the roof is glued on, and it's just nice to get in there and, you know, get some dirt on the floor so, you know, looks like it's being used. Sorry about the lighting, I forgot to turn it on. Right here I'm going to add the post that comes out of the second floor of the structure to lift the commercial products off the ship. Maybe even pull the nets off, you know, kind of like a pulley. So now we're getting into the fun part. I learned this trick probably on the third kit I ever built. Master Creations, what was it? Minerva Casket Co. Look it up on the internet. It's a real nice kit. But what they did was they built their roof out of card stock, which is basically cereal box. Then they instruct you in the instructions to cut paper for your seams, like I'm doing right here. And this is basically a step-by-step replica of what I was taught in that kit. So as you can see, I cut the paper, I glue it to one piece of card, then I flip it upside down. Then I stick the cards together, add a weight, let it dry, so that I can add it to the building in a little bit. Before I get the roofing on, I might as well add the commercial details to the second floor door entrance. Be kind of hard to get it in there after the roof is on. Adding the roof is, you know, it could be pretty hard if you're not patient. Just add the roof, stick it to the glue, leave it for about 20 minutes. Then come back and then push the card into the glue again, where it'll stick and stay. You know, we could spend a whole hour trying to clamp this into place with our fingers, and you're just wasting your time. Push the card into the glue after it's set for about 10 or 20 minutes. From my Minerva Casket Co. lesson, this is the only deviation I make. In that kit, they send these little battens made out of cardstock, same as the roof. I've got some small sticks that are much easier to use than cutting out the cardstock from the cardboard or the cereal box. So I'm just going to use these. You're not going to tell anyone, are you? I understand the roof looks terrible, but you know, once we get the colors on, you're going to be really surprised as to how this will really turn out to be a nice looking roof. And that's something that is pretty common out there in the real world. So, you know, remember me when you use this technique. Now painting this roof ain't so daunting either. I'm going to start with a darker gray color. I'm going to go around all the edges and all the seams because I want my lighter gray color to go in between all those areas. So I'm going to add the gray real liberally, try to get all through to the black. But if some black is showing through, I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to come over it with my light gray coat after this dries, and it's gonna look real nice. You know, try it yourself. You'll be surprised how good it looks. When adding your light gray coat on top of the dark gray coat, go lightly. I'm not dry brushing here, but I'm lightly brushing. I got a lot of paint on the brush, but I'm not pushing the brush into the roof. And the last step with every build is to add some weathering. I'm using some Model Tech Studios dark weathering solution. I like this stuff because it's real strong, and you only have to add a few small coats to get the desired effect. Be sure to weather the roof too after it's dry. So there you have it. The waterfront warehouse is complete. I'll add a little bit more weathering to the roof as time goes on, and maybe I'll show that in a live show later on. If you liked today's video, please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you want to support these videos, check out patreon.com/Ron Perry. If you want to help out, I'm available for those too. Just contact me to find out more. Thank you for watching these videos. It really means a lot to me. Have a great day.